Princess Lyra floated above the vibrant landscape of her home planet, Arendor. From orbit, the world looked like a painting of colors she had known since childhood. Emerald forests that stretched to the horizon, crystalline lakes reflecting twin suns, and mountains that shimmered with natural light. Lyra's heart beat steadily as her ship descended. She had been trained her whole life for diplomacy, for moments like this. But seeing her world from this height reminded her why she was willing to risk everything for peace. Her mission was clear. She was to travel to the human space station that orbited Arendor, a station built with human technology but now partially under human occupation. The humans had arrived decades ago, first as explorers, then as settlers, and now some wanted more influence over her people. Lyra's parents, the rulers of Arendor, had asked her to meet with them directly, to show goodwill and to prevent any misunderstanding. Lyra adjusted the collar of her ceremonial uniform. Her silver-blue robes shimmered under the station's landing lights. She took a deep breath. Calm, she reminded herself. Calm. Diplomacy required patience. Diplomacy required grace. The station's gates opened with a low hum, and she stepped onto the metal floor. The air smelled different, metallic, dry, unlike the soft scents of her planet. She could hear the quiet footsteps of the guards, their boots echoing. They stopped at a distance, studying her. Lyra met their gaze without fear. Princess Lyra, a voice said, deep and cautious. I am Captain Marcus. I will be your guide. Lyra turned to see a human soldier standing straight, his posture disciplined. His uniform was simple compared to hers, dark fabric with badges of rank, but his eyes were sharp, alert, and intelligent. Lyra could feel the weight of his judgment. Captain Marcus, she said with a small, polite bow. I am honored to meet you. He inclined his head slightly. We are honored to have you here, but for your safety and ours, you must follow station protocol. Lyra nodded. Of course. Her voice was calm, steady. She knew humans appreciated clarity, structure, and order. She would give them that. As they walked down the corridors, the station's lights reflected off the polished floors, creating long shadows. The walls were lined with displays showing planets, star charts, and alien data. Lyra noticed that some of the humans glanced at her with curiosity, while others avoided her gaze. She remained composed, understanding that her presence was unusual, perhaps even intimidating. Why are your people here? Marcus asked suddenly, breaking the silence. His tone was not rude but direct, and Lyra sensed genuine curiosity. Lyra paused, choosing her words carefully. We are here to maintain peace. Our worlds can learn from each other, but misunderstandings can grow quickly. I am here to prevent that. Marcus nodded slowly. Humans can be unpredictable. Some want diplomacy, some want power. Lyra's eyes met his. And some humans, I hope, are capable of honor and courage, just as some of my people are capable of wisdom and compassion. She smiled faintly, sensing the balance of tension in the air. Their walk brought them to a large observation deck. Through the glass, Lyra could see the planet beneath them, alive and glowing. She felt a pang of longing for the air, the wind, the sounds of Arendor. She missed it already. Beautiful, Marcus said, almost quietly. He looked at her as if wondering what her world was like. I've read about it, but seeing it, it's different. Lyra nodded. It is. And it is worth protecting. Before Marcus could respond, the station's alarms rang. Red lights pulsed along the walls and a voice announced, Security breach in Sector 9. All personnel respond immediately. Lyra froze for a moment, but only a moment. She had trained for emergencies, for sudden threats. Calm, she reminded herself. Calm. Marcus's eyes narrowed. Stay behind me, he said, pulling out a small energy rifle. His voice was firm but not hostile. He moved quickly, and Lyra followed, her movements deliberate and measured. They reached the corridor leading to Sector 9. The air shimmered faintly, and she noticed strange flickers in the walls, electrical disturbances that were not normal. Lyra raised her hand slightly, feeling the subtle hum of energy. She realized the disturbance was not just mechanical. It had an intelligence behind it. "What is that?" Marcus asked, glancing at her. "It is unfamiliar," Lyra replied. She did not panic. She could feel the energy, sense its pattern. "But we can manage it if we remain calm." Marcus looked at her for a moment. He was impressed, despite himself. Most humans would panic at something like this. Lyra's composure was unusual. He nodded, signaling her to follow. As they approached the source, a small group of security drones emerged, their metal bodies gleaming. But something was wrong. They moved erratically, almost as if they were malfunctioning. Their sensors locked onto Lyra and Marcus immediately. "Stand back," Marcus warned. He aimed carefully, but Lyra stepped forward. "No," she said gently. "We can disable them without violence." She extended her hands toward the drones, concentrating. Her fingers glowed faintly with a soft blue light. The drones' sensors flickered and their movement slowed. Lyra's alien technology interfaced with theirs, sending signals that calmed their systems. Marcus watched, amazed. "That's incredible," he muttered. Lyra smiled faintly. "It is not magic, Captain. It is understanding." She deactivated the last drone, and the corridor fell silent again. But their relief was brief. Through the transparent walls of the station they saw a shadow moving, a small, fast craft approaching from the planet below. It was too small to be human, too fast, to be expected. Lyra's mind raced. This was not a simple security breach. It was deliberate. Marcus clenched his fists. "Looks like we have company." Lyra's calm did not falter, but her mind worked quickly. "Then we must prepare," she said, "and we must remain focused. Panic will not help." He nodded, realizing that this alien princess, though appearing delicate, possessed strength and intelligence that rivaled any human soldier he had known. He felt a mix of respect and caution. As the craft drew closer, a bright pulse of energy lit the corridor. Lyra raised her hand instinctively, protecting both herself and Marcus. The pulse bounced harmlessly off her shield, but it was a warning. Whoever was approaching had power. "Captain," Lyra said, her voice calm but firm, "we need to reach the control room. From there we can assess the threat and coordinate the station's defense." Marcus agreed, and together, they moved through the station. Every step was careful, every movement calculated. Lyra's alien senses allowed her to anticipate traps, while Marcus's human instincts kept them safe from sudden attacks. They were an unusual team, one of diplomacy and strategy, one of discipline and defense. But together, they moved with efficiency and purpose. Finally, they reached the control room. Screens displayed the approaching craft, scanning the station, probing its defenses. Lyra studied the symbols, analyzing the patterns. "This is advanced technology," she said. "Not human. Possibly from a civilization observing us." Marcus nodded. "Then it's lucky we have you here. Humans alone may not have recognized this in time." Lyra shook her head slightly. "Luck is not enough. Understanding, calm, and focus are enough." She turned to him. "Are you ready to see what cooperation between human and alien minds can achieve?" Marcus felt a surge of determination. "I am." Outside the control room, the unknown craft hovered silently. Inside, Princess Lyra and Captain Marcus prepared, not just to face a threat, but to forge a partnership that might decide the fate of their worlds. And as Lyra steadied herself, she reminded herself once more: calm, focus, and courage. The adventure was only beginning. The unknown craft hovered above the station, its sleek surface glinting with strange colors that shifted like liquid light. The humans aboard the station were tense, their voices echoing in the control room. But Princess Lyra remained calm. She stood beside Captain Marcus, her eyes scanning the displays, interpreting the alien signals with a clarity that seemed almost unnatural to the humans around her. Marcus studied her quietly. Every move she made was deliberate, precise. While the humans panicked, she analyzed. While they doubted, she understood. He could not help but admire her calm, even as his own instincts screamed caution. This craft. It's not moving randomly, Lyra said softly, almost to herself. It is observing, learning, testing us. Marcus nodded. Testing or planning an attack. We need to prepare for both. Lyra turned to him. We must focus on understanding first. Panic will only make mistakes more likely. Her words were firm, but not commanding. They carried authority because she spoke from knowledge and reason, not fear. They began to coordinate with the station's defense teams. Lyra's alien technology interfaced with human systems, displaying patterns and energy readings in ways no human had ever seen. Marcus watched as she manipulated the controls, her fingers glowing faintly, tracing invisible lines of energy that the humans could not detect. Look at that, a young technician whispered. She's controlling it. Lyra smiled faintly, not controlling, guiding, understanding what is already there. Marcus leaned closer. What do you mean? The craft is sending signals. They are probing our systems, but they leave traces. I can read them. We can anticipate its moves. If we act carefully, he nodded, realizing that her calm was not mere composure. It was power. Knowledge was her weapon and patience her shield. The crew moved to implement her instructions. They adjusted energy shields, aligned sensors, and monitored every approach vector. Meanwhile, the unknown craft hovered silently, its intentions unreadable. As minutes stretched into tense hours, Lyra and Marcus began to communicate beyond simple commands. They shared insights, small observations about each other. You trust her instincts, Marcus thought, observing her work. But she trusts mine too. Why? Lyra noticed his glance and offered a faint smile. Because I see courage in you, Captain. Courage and clarity. They are rare in any species. Marcus felt a flicker of surprise. Compliments were not his usual currency, but there was truth in her words. He had faced dangerous situations before, but this was different. He was not just fighting, he was cooperating, learning, and being observed by someone who could have been his enemy. Then, a sudden alarm rang. A small group of drones had appeared on the outer docking bay. They were different from the first ones, sleek, fast, and seemingly autonomous. Lyra's eyes widened slightly, though she did not panic. Captain, she said, these are not rogue drones. They are scouts, sent by whoever controls the craft. They are testing our response. Marcus grabbed his rifle. Then we test theirs. Lyra shook her head gently. No, we observe first. Learning before action will save more lives. Marcus hesitated. He wanted to act, to use human speed and reflex, but he could see the wisdom in her calm demeanor. Slowly he lowered his weapon. Together, they watched the drones. Lyra's senses allowed her to see patterns, the small signals that humans could not detect. They move in cycles. Every fourth movement is a probe. If we block that, the rest will retreat. Marcus followed her instructions. Using the station's defense systems, they activated barriers and redirected energy flows. The drones encountered resistance and faltered. Slowly, they withdrew. See? Lyra said softly. No lives lost. We only needed understanding. Marcus exhaled slowly. He had wanted action, but this was smarter. You're right, he admitted. We act too quickly sometimes. The moment of calm was short-lived. Another alert appeared. A small breach in the station's outer hull near the research sector. Lyra and Marcus moved quickly, navigating the corridors with efficiency. Lyra's eyes flicked to the sensors, reading data faster than Marcus could follow. When they arrived, they saw a small alien probe trying to interface with the station systems. It was sleek, silver, almost like liquid metal moving in ways humans could not predict. Marcus raised his rifle instinctively, but Lyra placed a hand gently on his arm. Wait, she whispered. We can communicate. Marcus frowned. Communicate. With a machine? Lyra nodded. She extended her hand toward the probe. A soft glow emanated from her fingers and the probe paused. Slowly it shifted its form, almost bowing to her presence. Lyra whispered something in an alien tongue, and the probe moved back, as if understanding her command. Marcus stared, awed. I've never seen anything like this. It is not magic, Lyra said calmly. It is connection, recognition, understanding before conflict. The probe retreated completely, leaving the corridor quiet. Marcus lowered his rifle. He had never worked with someone like Lyra before, someone whose calm mind could influence both humans and alien technology alike. As they walked back toward the control room, Marcus broke the silence. Princess, how do you stay so calm when everything around us is dangerous? Lyra's eyes met his. Because panic solves nothing. Understanding solves everything. If I react in fear, I make mistakes. If I remain calm, I can see the truth even when it is hidden. Marcus nodded slowly. I think I am learning from you. Lyra smiled faintly. And I from you. Courage and loyalty are powerful tools. Your species has strength beyond what you often realize. The hours passed and the unknown craft remained in orbit. It sent no more drones, no more probes, only observations. Lyra continued to study the data, interpreting subtle signals that humans could not detect. She shared her insights with Marcus, explaining patterns and possibilities in simple, clear terms. Through the day, a silent bond grew between them. It was not friendship yet, but respect, mutual understanding. They were learning from each other, humans, and alien princess alike, how to face a threat without fear, how to rely on intelligence and observation instead of brute force. Late in the evening, the station's alarm system signaled the arrival of a small human patrol team. Marcus and Lyra briefed them on the situation, explaining the pattern of the unknown craft's behavior. The humans were skeptical at first, but Lyra's confidence and knowledge convinced them to follow her guidance. Together, they reinforced the station's defenses, checked every access point, and prepared for any unexpected moves from the unknown observers. Throughout it all, Lyra remained serene, guiding humans through complex procedures with patience and clarity. As the crew settled into watches for the night, Marcus stood beside her once more. Princess, do you ever get scared? He asked quietly. Lyra considered the question. Fear is natural, she said slowly. But I do not allow it to control me. I acknowledge it, then focus on what must be done. That is how I remain calm. Marcus nodded. He could see the truth in her words. He had faced fear many times, but he had never truly learned to control it like this. Perhaps he could, if he followed her example. The night passed uneventfully, but the tension never fully left the station. The unknown craft still orbited silently, still watching, still testing. Lyra and Marcus maintained vigilance, their teamwork growing stronger. Through observation, strategy, and communication, they were learning to face an unknown threat together, human and alien side by side. By morning, the first rays of sunlight reflected off the station's outer hull. Lyra stood at the observation window watching Arendor below. Marcus joined her, and together they looked at her home planet. The forests, the lakes, the mountains that seemed to glow with life. Beautiful, isn't it? Marcus said softly. It is, Lyra agreed. And it is worth protecting. Not just for my people, but for all who live here, and for all who seek peace. Marcus smiled faintly. Then I guess we have a lot of work to do. Lyra turned to him, calm and composed. Yes, and we will do it together. For the first time, Marcus realized that facing the unknown was not just about weapons or defenses. It was about understanding, courage, and cooperation. And Princess Lyra had already shown him that the combination of human bravery and alien intelligence could overcome challenges far greater than either could face alone. The adventure was far from over. The unknown craft still watched. The universe still held danger and mystery. But for now, human and alien stood together, calm and prepared, ready to face whatever came next. The morning sunlight stretched across the observation deck, casting warm hues on Princess Lyra's silver-blue robes. She stood with Captain Marcus, eyes fixed on the screens in the control room. The unknown craft had not moved, but its presence was still heavy, almost oppressive. Every monitor, every sensor was filled with data that demanded careful attention. Suddenly, a bright pulse flashed across the screens. The station shuddered as the energy hit the outer walls. Alarms blared, and human crew members rushed to their stations, shouting instructions. Lyra remained calm, her eyes analyzing the pattern of the pulse. "Not random," she said softly. "This is deliberate. Whoever controls that craft is testing our reactions, looking for weaknesses." Marcus tightened his grip on his rifle, though he did not aim it yet. "Then we need to respond before they find one." Lyra nodded. "Yes, but carefully. Panic and speed without thought will only make us predictable." She moved to the station's main interface and began adjusting energy shields, her fingers glowing faintly with alien power. Marcus watched closely. Humans had technology, but Lyra's knowledge of alien energy systems made her abilities extraordinary. Together they created a layered defense that combined human mechanics with alien energy control. "Captain, assist me with the directional field," Lyra instructed. Marcus moved to follow her orders, guiding the station's energy flow with precision. It was the first time he had seen human and alien technology work together in harmony. Just as they completed the adjustment, a panel flashed red. A small section of the station's outer hull had been breached. Marcus grabbed his rifle, moving quickly. Lyra followed, her hands ready to manipulate the energy fields. Through the breach, they saw a strange metallic figure crawling along the station's surface. It was a probe, sleek and agile, moving with an intelligence that mimicked living creatures. Marcus fired a warning shot, but Lyra raised her hand. "No," she said calmly. "We can stop it without damage. Let me try." She stepped forward and extended her hands. A soft blue glow surrounded her fingers. The probe paused, its sensors flickering. Slowly, it rotated toward Lyra, as if acknowledging her presence. Marcus could not understand how she did it, but he saw the results immediately. The probe retreated, moving back along the hull without harming the station. Marcus lowered his rifle, impressed. "I've never seen anyone control technology like that," he admitted. "It is not control," Lyra replied. "It is communication, understanding before action." Marcus nodded slowly. "We could learn a lot from that." They returned to the control room, but the crisis was far from over. A new alert appeared. A part of the station had lost power, trapped in a containment field. Lyra and Marcus exchanged a glance. "That's the research sector," Lyra said. "Civilians and scientists are inside. We must move quickly." Together they raced through the corridors, Lyra's calm leading the way. Marcus had learned to trust her instincts, following her silently while keeping an eye on potential dangers. The station's corridors were dimly lit, shadows stretching across the walls. Every step was tense, yet Lyra moved like she knew the building's structure better than anyone else. When they arrived at the research sector, they found several scientists trapped behind an energy barrier. The barrier pulsed with strange alien energy, different from anything the station had ever generated. Marcus raised his rifle, ready to force the barrier down, but Lyra held up her hand. "Let me try first," she said. She stepped forward, studying the barrier's energy. She extended her hands and touched the surface lightly. Her fingers glowed and the barrier shivered. Slowly, it began to dissolve, opening a path for the trapped scientists. Marcus watched, amazed. "How do you do that?" "It is not magic," Lyra said gently. "It is understanding. This energy responds to intent and calm focus. Panic or force would have made it stronger, not weaker." The scientists rushed out, expressing gratitude and relief. Marcus nodded in acknowledgement. "Princess, you saved lives today." Lyra shook, her head slightly. We saved lives together. You provided protection, strategy, and guidance. My skills alone could not have done this without your courage. Marcus felt a new respect for her. She was not just a princess, she was a leader, a strategist, and a protector. And she valued human courage as much as human skill. As they returned to the control room, the unknown craft made a sudden movement. A shadowy figure appeared on one of the external cameras, a humanoid shape but unlike any human. Its form shifted and shimmered with light, almost as if it were made of energy. Marcus tensed. Princess, what is that? Lyra studied the figure, calmly. It is an emissary of the unknown craft. It is observing us directly now. We must remain calm and continue to act with understanding. They activated additional sensors analyzing the figure. Lyra's alien senses allowed her to interpret signals that humans could not. She saw patterns in the energy fluctuations, hints of intelligence and intention. Marcus followed her lead, guiding the station's defense systems with precision. They were working together now, not just as human and alien but as a single unit, combining insight, strength, and strategy. Suddenly, the emissary moved closer to the station, sending a pulse of energy that disrupted the systems. Lights flickered and monitors glitched. Marcus moved instinctively to protect Lyra, but she remained calm, analyzing the pulse. It is testing our responses again, she said. Observe. Do not react with force. Predict its moves and adjust. Marcus nodded. He followed her instructions, his mind focusing in a way it rarely did. Together, they predicted the emissary's next pulse, countering it with adjustments in the station's energy fields. The system stabilized, and the emissary paused, as if acknowledging their skill. For a moment, silence returned. The humans in the control room looked at Lyra with awe, realizing that she had not only protected them but had guided them through a crisis they could not have handled alone. Marcus turned to her. You really can remain calm in any situation, can't you? Lyra smiled faintly. Calmness is not natural, it is trained. It is the choice to see clearly, to act wisely, to protect others without letting fear control you. Marcus nodded slowly, understanding. He had faced danger before, but never with such control, such clarity. He felt a growing respect for Lyra, not just as a princess, but as a leader, as someone who could teach humans to be better. Hours passed as they monitored the unknown craft. It remained in orbit, observing but not attacking further. Lyra and Marcus worked side by side, analyzing data, predicting patterns, and coordinating human and alien technology. Through this cooperation, they discovered something remarkable. The craft was not hostile. Its actions were tests, probing to see if humans and aliens could act intelligently and calmly together. Marcus realized this was the true challenge, not weapons, not defense, but cooperation, and they were passing. Lyra turned to him. Do you see, Captain? Strength alone is not enough. Understanding, focus, and collaboration create true power. Humans and aliens together can face any challenge. Marcus nodded. I see it now, and I'm proud to be part of this. The first stars of the evening appeared outside the observation windows. Lyra and Marcus watched together, a quiet moment amidst the tension of the day. They had faced drones, energy barriers, and mysterious emissaries, and they had survived because of trust, patience, and calm determination. Tomorrow, Lyra said softly, we will need to prepare further. The unknown craft may return with new tests, but for now we have learned something important. Fear is not our enemy. Misunderstanding is, and we can overcome it, together. Marcus smiled faintly. Then we keep learning. Together. As night settled over the station, the bond between human and alien strengthened. It was not yet friendship, not yet trust fully formed, but it was a beginning. And in the vastness of space, beginnings were often the first step toward survival and victory. Lyra returned to her quarters, sitting quietly and meditating. Calm, she reminded herself. Focus, she told herself. Patience. She had seen courage in a human, learned lessons from a soldier, and realized that alliances could form in the most unlikely places. Tomorrow, the challenge would grow, but she would face it as she had faced everything, with calm, clarity, and determination. Marcus, too, returned to his quarters reflecting on the day. He had witnessed extraordinary courage, intelligence, and control. He had seen what humans could achieve when guided by understanding, rather than fear. And he knew deep in his heart that Lyra was not only a princess but a leader capable of changing the course of interstellar relations. The night passed quietly, but both of them knew that the unknown craft's presence was far from over. Their cooperation had passed the first tests, but new trials awaited. The universe was watching, and the fate of their worlds might depend on how well they continued to work together. For now, though, they had proven something important. Human and alien could face the unknown, side by side with courage, wisdom, and calm. And that was a lesson worth more than any victory in battle. The station shook as the unknown craft moved closer, its energy pulsing in steady, deliberate waves. Princess Lyra and Captain Marcus stood together in the control room, watching the readings. The calm they had maintained over the last day was about to be tested in ways neither could predict. Lyra's eyes were sharp, scanning every monitor. Her calm was unbroken, but inside her mind she calculated every possibility. "This is no longer a test," she said. "They are preparing to challenge us directly." Marcus tightened his grip on his rifle, feeling the tension in the room. "Then we need to be ready. All systems online. Everyone at their stations." Lyra nodded. "Yes, but strategy first. Strength alone will not win this." They moved quickly through the corridors, checking defenses and coordinating with the human crew. The station's energy shields were raised, turrets were activated, and every door was secured. Lyra's alien technology interfaced seamlessly with human systems, boosting shields and enhancing sensors. In the observation deck, the human crew watched as the unknown craft hovered in orbit, its surface glowing with patterns that seemed almost alive. Marcus felt a shiver of apprehension, but Lyra remained composed. She walked along the deck, her hands glowing faintly as she adjusted energy frequencies to reinforce the station. "You are calm, Princess," Marcus said quietly. "I don't know how you do it." Lyra turned to him with a faint smile. "Calm is not absence of fear. It is the choice to act wisely despite fear. Courage is not reckless action. It is careful action guided by purpose." Marcus nodded, understanding more than he could explain. Her words were not just philosophy, they were a strategy. The first wave of attacks came quickly. Small energy missiles streaked toward the station, moving faster than anything humans had ever built. Turrets fired automatically, but Lyra's alien guidance adjusted the station's shields in real time, deflecting the missiles harmlessly into space. "Focus on their patterns," she shouted over the alarm. "They move in cycles. Predict the next wave." Marcus followed her instructions, guiding the crew as they coordinated defense systems. Humans and aliens were acting as one unit, learning from each other, and Lyra's calm focus kept everyone from panicking. The unknown craft sent another pulse, and this time, a small landing pod broke off and headed for the station's docking bay. Marcus raised his rifle, ready to intercept, but Lyra held up her hand. "Wait," she said. "We can manage this without unnecessary conflict. Observation first, then action." She extended her hands, glowing softly, and interfaced with the pod's controls. The metal surface shimmered, and slowly the pod's movement ceased. Lyra manipulated the energy around it, guiding it gently to a safe landing that did not harm the station. Marcus stared, amazed. "You just stopped it, without firing a single shot." Lyra nodded. "Understanding neutralizes danger more efficiently than force, but we must remain vigilant. There will be more." The station's alarms continued, warning of multiple incoming threats. Lyra and Marcus coordinated the crew, preparing defensive positions while maintaining calm order. Humans ran drills they had never performed before, guided by her precise instructions. It was the first time they realized that strategy and understanding could be as powerful as weapons. Then, the real challenge appeared. The unknown craft deployed, a massive energy field that surrounded the station, cutting off communications and access points. A humanoid figure emerged from the energy, a being larger and more formidable than anything they had faced before. Its form shimmered with light, and it moved with a speed that made human eyes struggle to follow. Marcus raised his rifle, feeling the weight of responsibility. "Princess, we can't hold it with defense alone." Lyra's eyes narrowed. "We will hold it with strategy and courage. Humans and aliens together can overcome this." She moved to the station's main interface, sending waves of energy to counter the alien force. Marcus worked beside her, guiding the crew in defensive maneuvers. The figure attacked, sending pulses that disrupted the shields. But Lyra anticipated, each move adjusting the energy flow in real time. "Focus on their weakness," she shouted. "Energy patterns. Every strike they make leaves an opening." Marcus observed carefully and realized she was right. The alien figure, though powerful, had predictable cycles in its attacks. By combining human reflexes with her alien calculations, they could anticipate every move. The battle raged for hours. The station shook under the force of energy blasts, but Lyra and Marcus never lost focus. They communicated silently, coordinating humans and alien systems, blocking attacks, and guiding countermeasures. Civilians and scientists moved safely behind reinforced barriers, protected by their combined efforts. At one point, a group of rogue drones broke through the outer defenses, heading straight for the station's reactor. Marcus ran to intercept them, while Lyra extended her hands to neutralize their systems. In perfect coordination, human courage and alien intelligence worked together. The drones were stopped without damage, the reactor remained safe, and the humans gained a new understanding of what cooperation truly meant. Marcus glanced at Lyra as they regrouped. "You are incredible," he said. "I've never seen anyone coordinate a defense like this." Lyra shook her head. "I am not incredible. I am calm, and calm, combined with focus, can achieve what seems impossible. But you too, your courage and leadership inspired the crew. Without both of us, the station would not survive." Finally, they noticed the alien figure slowing its attacks. Its energy pulses became less frequent, almost hesitant. Lyra studied the data. They recognize skill and courage. They see that we are capable of understanding and defense. That is why their assault is easing. Marcus watched as the figure moved back, the energy field dissipating slowly. The station's shield stabilized, alarms stopped, and silence returned. Lyra exhaled softly, relief visible for the first time in days. "We did it," Marcus said quietly, amazed. Lyra smiled faintly. "Not just us, Captain. Humans and aliens together. Courage, focus, and understanding prevailed. That is the lesson they were testing." Marcus looked around the control room. Crew members were exhausted but alive. Scientists and engineers were safe. The station had survived a direct confrontation with an unknown and powerful force. "You know," Marcus said, "I used to think bravery was just facing danger head-on. But today, I think it's more than that. It's working together, staying calm, and making the right choices even when it's terrifying." Lyra nodded. "Exactly. Courage without wisdom is reckless. Wisdom without courage is ineffective. Together, they create true strength." The humans looked at her with admiration, realizing that her calm intelligence had saved them all. They had followed her guidance, learned from her strategy, and discovered that bravery and calmness could work together to overcome overwhelming odds. Marcus turned to Lyra. "I think I've learned more today than I have in my entire career. Not just about combat, but about leadership, patience, and courage." Lyra's eyes softened. "And I have learned from you, Captain. Your bravery, your quick thinking, and your willingness to trust and cooperate. It is inspiring. Perhaps this is the beginning of a new understanding between our species." The alien figure finally retreated, disappearing into the depths of space. The unknown craft followed slowly, as if acknowledging their victory, then vanished beyond. the station's orbit. The control room erupted in quiet cheers, but Lyra and Marcus did not celebrate loudly. Instead, they remained focused, ensuring that all systems were operational and civilians were safe. Calm and composure were their true reward, not applause. As the day ended, Lyra stood at the observation deck looking down at her planet, Arendor. Marcus joined her, placing a hand lightly on her shoulder. "Your people are lucky to have you," he said. Lyra shook her head. "Luck is not enough. Knowledge, focus, and courage protect us. And today, humans and aliens prove that together, we are stronger than we are apart." Marcus nodded. "Then let's hope we continue to prove that. Together." Lyra smiled faintly. "We will. There is more to learn, more to prepare. But today we showed that courage and understanding can face even the unknown." The sun set behind Arendor, casting golden light across the station. For the first time since the unknown craft appeared, Lyra and Marcus allowed themselves a brief moment of rest. But both knew the universe was vast, full of dangers and challenges yet to come. Tonight they had faced the greatest test so far, and together, human and alien had prevailed. It was a victory of intelligence, courage, and collaboration, a proof that even in the vast darkness of space, calm and focused minds could light the way. And as Lyra gazed at the stars, she felt a quiet hope. For the first time, she believed that humans and aliens could truly be allies, capable of facing any threat, solving any challenge, and building a future of understanding and strength. The station was quiet now. The unknown craft had vanished, leaving behind only the calm of space and the faint hum of the station's systems. Princess Lyra stood at the observation deck, her eyes fixed on her home planet, Arendor. The green, forests and sparkling lakes seemed to glow under the twin suns, a reminder of everything she fought to protect. Captain Marcus approached, his footsteps soft on the metal floor. He stopped beside her, looking out at the same view. "We did it," he said quietly. "The station is safe. Everyone is safe." Lyra nodded, her calm expression unbroken. "Yes, today was a test, not just of strength but of cooperation. Humans and aliens together can face threats far greater than either could alone." Marcus smiled faintly. "I never realized how much I could learn from an alien, or from a princess." Lyra turned to him, her gaze steady. "And I have learned from you, Captain. Courage, quick thinking, loyalty. Humans have great strength within them. Your species is capable of honor and bravery that can match any challenge." Marcus looked at her, feeling a warmth he had not expected. He had faced countless dangers, but nothing had taught him lessons of calm, strategy, and trust like Lyra had. "I think we've started something here," he said. "Yes," Lyra agreed. "Something that could grow into understanding between our species. Trust and respect are fragile, but they are worth protecting." The station crew gathered, cautiously emerging from their stations and compartments. They had seen the impossible, human and alien minds working together to survive a threat far beyond their expectations. Scientists, engineers, and guards all looked to Lyra and Marcus with admiration. One of the engineers stepped forward. "Princess, Captain, without your guidance we would have lost the station. I don't know how to thank you." Lyra bowed slightly. "No thanks are necessary. Protecting life is its own reward. But remember, the lesson is not about one person. Courage and understanding, cooperation and focus, these are the true keys to survival." Marcus added, "We worked together today, that's what saved everyone." The crew nodded, inspired. The lessons of calm, teamwork, and intelligence were not just for the moment. They would shape how humans and aliens work together in the future. After the crew dispersed to resume their duties, Lyra and Marcus walked through the corridors of the station, inspecting the damage from the attack. Sparks from minor energy surges flickered along the walls, but the station had survived remarkably well. Lyra touched the walls lightly, adjusting minor energy imbalances, her glow subtle but effective. Marcus watched, amazed. "You're incredible," he said again, though more humbly this time. I've seen soldiers, generals, and engineers. None of them could manage this the way you do. Lyra shook her head. I am not incredible. I am trained, focused, calm. That is what matters. And courage from you and your people allowed us to succeed. They reached the observation deck again. Silence hung between them, comfortable and reflective. Marcus finally spoke. Princess, when you return to your planet, will humans be welcome there? After everything? Lyra's eyes softened. Humans have much to offer, but also much to learn. Today you have shown what humans can be at their best. Brave, loyal, willing to cooperate. That is why I believe in hope. That is why we can work together in the future. Marcus nodded slowly. I hope so too. For your people, for ours, for peace. Lyra turned her gaze to the stars. The universe is vast, Captain. Danger will always exist. But so will opportunities to understand and grow. Today was one of those opportunities. The two of them stood in silence, watching Arendor below. The station hummed quietly, its systems stabilizing, and for a moment, everything felt safe. The unknown craft had retreated, leaving them with lessons, survival, and hope. Later, Lyra addressed the station crew in the main hall. Her voice was calm, but carried authority, wisdom, and reassurance. People of this station, today we faced a threat unlike any we have encountered. Yet we survived, not through violence alone, but through intelligence, courage, and cooperation. We have proven that humans and aliens working together are capable of incredible achievements. Let this be the foundation of future understanding between our species. The crew listened, inspired. Marcus stood beside her, proud and respectful. They had faced unknown danger and had not just survived. They had taught a lesson about the strength of unity. After the briefing, Marcus walked with Lyra toward the docking bay, where her ship awaited. The journey home would be long, and Lyra knew she had work to do to strengthen ties between humans and Arendor. But she also felt a sense of accomplishment. Today had shown that hope and courage could unite even the most different beings. Marcus stopped beside her ship, glancing at her. Princess, it's been an honor working with you. I hope we can meet again under better circumstances. Lyra smiled faintly. I hope so, Captain. And perhaps next time our cooperation will not be tested by danger, but by opportunities for growth, learning, and peace. He nodded. I'll look forward to that day. Lyra's ship hummed softly as she prepared to depart. The engines glowed, casting light across the docking bay. She turned to Marcus one last time. Remember this, Captain. Courage and understanding, focus and calm. These will guide you in any challenge, whether human or alien. Protect these lessons, share them. Marcus saluted her. I will, Princess, I promise. The ship lifted off, gliding smoothly into space. Marcus watched until it disappeared into the distance, carrying with it not just a princess, but a symbol of hope, courage, and unity. Back in the control room, Marcus reflected on the events of the last days. The station was safe. Civilians and crew were unharmed. They had faced unknown technology, mysterious threats, and potential disaster, and survived. But the true victory, he realized, was not in defense or strategy alone. It was in trust, in cooperation, and in calm courage that had inspired everyone to rise to the challenge. Lyra's presence had changed the way humans on the station viewed aliens, not as strange or dangerous, but as capable, intelligent allies. Marcus felt hope for the future, knowing that human and alien collaboration could achieve more than conflict ever could. As the stars stretched endlessly beyond the observation windows, he thought of Lyra and her calm, unwavering determination. The lessons she had taught would remain, guiding humans and aliens alike in future endeavors. And though the unknown craft had disappeared, Marcus knew that the universe would continue to test them. But he also knew that humans and aliens working together could face any challenge. Today had proven it. Tomorrow they would be ready. Meanwhile, Lyra's ship traveled through space, carrying her back to Arendor. She gazed at her home planet, with pride and hope. The lessons of courage, cooperation, and calm would shape the future of her people and humans alike. She had faced fear, danger, and uncertainty, and had emerged stronger, wiser, and more confident in the potential of humanity. When she landed, her parents and advisors awaited her. Lyra recounted the events calmly, explaining the courage of the humans, the lessons of cooperation, and the importance of maintaining trust. Her people listened, inspired. "This is a new chapter," Lyra said softly, "for Arendor and for humans. Together, we can face what lies ahead." Her parents nodded, proud of their daughter. Lyra had not only protected her people, but she had also forged a bridge between worlds, a bridge built on courage, calm, and understanding. And somewhere in the stars, Captain Marcus watched, thinking of the alien princess who had taught him that calm courage and intelligence could overcome even the most unknown dangers. He felt hope for humanity, for the future, and for the possibility of friendship and unity among the stars. The adventure was over for now, but the lessons remained. Lyra and Marcus had proven that humans and aliens, united by courage and understanding, could survive and thrive in a universe full of unknown challenges. And that hope, quiet but powerful, would shine far brighter than any star.